Thank you very much, Tan Sri Simon Sipam. Tan Sri has been a very good inspirator to me when I first joined Desah. Now, the forum this afternoon that we are here for basically is, what do the voters expect from the incoming government? I think the next question I would like to ask as well is, who is going to be the next incoming government? Are we going to be retaining Barisan Nasional? Or are we going to be having a new government? Now, I have been invited on many occasions on quite a number of forums, debates, and quite a number of the debates and forums that I have attended. I have also been, the word that has always been accredited to me was, I've always been a shit stirrer. Right, simply because I end up asking questions and put panelists into a very awkward situation. But the one thing that we have noticed today is this. This is one of the first forums that I have attended anyway, where we have the presence of most of the political parties who are aspiring to be the incoming government. Unfortunately, we do not have the presence of Barisan Nasional or UMNO. Quite honestly, I had actually had a conversation, a talk over coffee with the secretary of the Barisan Nasional Sabah, Yang Berhormat Datuk Rahman Dahlan, who had assured me that he will be present here this afternoon. I do not see Rahman Dahlan here at all. So that probably speaks volume of whether BN is capable of coming in the next government. But I would like to acknowledge the fact that the opposition front is rather quite well represented here this afternoon. We have Parti Keadilan Rakyat, we have DAP, we have STAR, we have SAPP, and we also have KITA. Now, what we don't have, or what we are not seeing here, we do not have a consolidated, we do not have a solidified, and we do not have a united opposition front. That is what we do not have.
Very safe, very safe.
Now, bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the 13th general election, whether you like it or not, as mentioned by Mutu earlier, is going to happen. You may wake up tomorrow morning and switch on your computer and Najib Razak says, I have just dissolved parliament. But whatever it is, the 13th general election is going to take place. The question that we like to probably ask the opposition parties, the opposition front, is, are you ready? Now, the voters basically in Sabah, particularly, I'm not so interested in what's happening in Peninsular Malaysia, but here in Sabah, majority of the voters in Sabah have made up their minds. I've attended a lot of political dramas by various opposition parties, and one of the clarion calls by the opposition leaders has always been this: the people have decided. The question is, they have decided, but how do you know which way their vote is going to? The only way that the voters, as Tan Sri Simon once basically mentioned, which appeared in a newspaper report a couple of days ago, the opposition parties are confusing the voters. What I think the voters basically are more interested in seeing is consolidation efforts, solidified efforts. You cannot fight as an individual with the might and the giantness of Barisan Nasional. They are too strong. And the only way, if at all, the intentions of the voters is to ensure the exit of Barisan Nasional, then the opposition front must be consolidated. Now, if you are short of candidates, I would like to suggest N. Lazimbang as a candidate for your party. Unfortunately, as most of the political leaders will probably think, you already have your candidate list ready. Now, there has been a lot of interpretations as far as the word change is concerned. I have been invited to speak in a very interesting forum in Petaling Jaya very recently, and the audience were basically all Sabahans. All right. When I was in Parti Keadilan Rakyat, I formed 3 major groups in Semenanjung, Malaysia. One in Selangor, one in Johor, and one in Penang. These are all Sabahans. All right. And the intention was to ensure that they vote PKR. I don't tell them that now because I'm no longer a PKR. But I tell them to vote what you feel is right now. Now, in this talk that I delivered in Petaling Jaya recently, we talk about change. This is the common call by a lot of us, change. But what is change? Does change basically means we want to change the government? Fine. We will give the opposition 5 years, and if they do not perform, we kick them out. Then my question to you is, who do you replace them with? Back to Barisan? Now, the only way, the reasons as to why questions of this nature is being posed by voters is they are seeing that the opposition is not consolidated. They would have a much more different opinion if they are able to see the opposition parties consolidated. Now, change. What is change? To us, as far as change is concerned, it is not just changing the government. Change is basically putting the right people in government. That is change. I remember N. Lazimbang said just now earlier, we're always seeing the same old faces. And she is not far from wrong, because I can virtually guarantee you that the 13th general election, all opposition parties are going to feel the old faces.
Boring.
Now, where are the new faces in your political party? Again, if you're looking for a new face, a young boy, Khairuddin is available. All right, now, we are not saying that the current leadership of the opposition parties are not relevant. Neither are we saying that they are not capable. They are. But there must come a time, if we are really talking about the 13th general election, for change. If nothing happens, if no change takes place in the 13th general election, you can be assured that it won't even happen in the 14th general election. Unless and until we have a new group of people who believes to take Malaysia into a much further horizon and ensure that corruption of any sort is put to a full stop. Most of the political leaders over here know me quite well. To us, as far as we're concerned, the call of change must start from within. When I say within, means within your political party. What direction are you wanting to take the people? Where do you want to lead the people? Now, I am basically extremely happy and proud that today we have PKR here, we have STAR here, we have SAPP here, and we have DAP. What we are not seeing here is when you talk about consolidation and solidification, you see leaders sitting as far as possible from each other, with the exception, of course, with PKR, STAR, and SAPP on the front row. Now, there must be a start for consolidation. If we are not able to show the people of Sabah, or you are unable to show the people of Sabah, that you are a force to be reckoned with in the 13th general election, then I once told a very senior political leader who is probably reaching the age of 60, what are your plans in the event you lose in the 13th general election? And his answer to me was, if I lose, I will just carry on my legal practice. And I told him, if that is your intention, then you better don't stand as a candidate. It's just like going to a Toto shop. I want to go and poke so that my number comes out tomorrow. This is not the time to poke whether you got a chance to win in the coming election. The lives and the livelihood and the welfare of the people of this state rests in your hand. If you are basically portraying the selfishness, the hypocrisy, as well as knowing very well that you may not have a chance to win unless and until you are consolidated, then you are actually giving the impression to the voters in the state that they have put so much hope in you wresting the state and showing Barisan Nasional the exit will all go up in smoke. Now, some of you basically over here have engaged with me on numerous occasions on the internet, particularly in Facebook. I have been extremely critical. Recently, I had the opportunity of attending a Chinese New Year function, and there was one particular lady who told me, "You always hantam all the parties." And I told this lady this: there is no political party, whether it is Barisan Nasional or any of the opposition parties. Whenever there is a ceramah, you stand very proudly up on stage. And in the course of standing on the stage, you are actually telling the audience how good your party is. You will never basically tell the audience the weakness of your party. So I told this lady, you need someone like me. I will criticize you to the core. But the idea basically is to tell you that you are not God. You also have your weakness. And the idea is for you to improve your weakness. And if you are unable to improve your weakness and accept constructive criticisms, then please tell me, how does the people expect you to run the government? The 13th general election, basically, as far as if change is ever to be perceived as happening, will depend very much on how you are able to come together. Change is something that does not happen with the snap of your fingers. It happens simply because you are truly and honestly wanting change. The people basically in Kota Kinabalu or Sabah for that matter are ready for change. Sacrifices, of course, has to be made. You are requesting the people of this state to sacrifice. What are you actually asking them to sacrifice? You are asking them to sacrifice their vote to put you in office. Now that trust is a very, very sacred trust. A trust that you cannot allow under any circumstances to betray the people who are going to be casting their votes. Unfortunately, we are still seeing this bitching and bashing and bickering in the newspapers almost daily. Worse off in the internet, in Facebook, or in Twitter. You know, I get a little bit irked sometimes, you know, when you have one guy who talks about we are going to change. We are going to show Barisan Nasional out. And the next minute, he bashed another fellow opposition party. Now, what is the confidence that the voters basically are aspiring? Say what you like, no matter whatever words that we may use in any form of our engagement, this pen is still mightier than the sword, because it will be this pen that will decide whether they are going to mark your political party. Now, I am not certain whether the political parties basically in the opposition are aware of this. In the 13th January election, in all ballot papers, there is only one coalition political party. And that coalition political party is known as Barisan Nasional. The opposition front in Sabah is not a coalition, though you may claim to be a coalition, Pakatan Rakyat. Unfortunately, the name Pakatan Rakyat is not going to be on that ballot paper. You are going to see Barisan Nasional, you are going to see PKR, DAP, PAS, SAPP, STAR. We hope it does not have to be, the list doesn't have to be that long. One of the main objectives of Desah is to ensure that there will be a one-to-one contest. We have tried, believe me, we have really tried. But we are not saying that we have failed. It is the opposition parties that has failed. We may now probably see a three-corner fight at its best, or at its worst, we'll probably see a four-corner fight. And to make matters worse, we may probably see a 5 or 6 corner fight. I had one gentleman who asked me just now, Ronnie, are you standing as a candidate? I said, I have stood as a candidate and I have won in my house for the last 30 years. Unfortunately, I'm not getting any form of pension. Alright, but basically it is very imperative, the voters here in particular, not so much on the political party. I applaud the presence, alright, and the guts of all those who are present here, the political party leaders who are present here today. This is something that has never been seen. Alright, more often than not, you only see them during Chinese New Year celebration, Hari Raya open house, Christmas. Not so much of going there to have RMIP or to have the food, but you are there simply because you want to be seen to be around. Now, basically, the people are ready. The question remains, as far as the opposition leaders are concerned, is, were you ever ready, and are you ready? Desah basically would be more than happy. I am speaking on behalf of Tanzri. Desah would be more than happy to be the facilitator to all the political parties opposition in particular, because somehow or other, whatever plans and whatever strategy that is being used so far doesn't seem to be working. And this gives the opportunity, or rather this strengthens the position of Barisan Nasional. To say that Barisan Nasional has done nothing in the last 50 years is also not true. Barisan has done quite a lot of things for this state and the country. They have. What the opposition basically is wanting to do is to do better than what Barisan Nasional has done. That is the objective. To eradicate corruption. Of course, there may be some very highly corrupted people basically in the opposition yourself. I do not think that every one of the members or the leaders are also 100% clean. But you are definitely cleaner than Barisan Nasional. Alright, so why, knowing very well that you have that strength within you, do not take advantage of the goodwill of the voters? The voters have given you goodwill. Don't take advantage of that goodwill. Right. I have got friends as well in Barisan Nasional. I have got friends in UMNO. And many of my friends basically are also seated here in the opposition. I have even given, in one of my talks in Penang, very recently, it was held in a church, and there were some Barisan Nasional people present. I remember it was put up on Facebook. I was standing on a rostrum and there was a crucifix in front. And I told the Barisan Nasional members who were there, this was with regard to the Allah issue, when I went there to speak. Tan Sri Simon mentioned earlier that I have been a guest within the walls of jail. Yes, I was arrested for crusading and pursuing the Allah issue. Bishop Paul Tan, who is a very well-known bishop in Semenanjung, issued a very, very strong statement as far as this Allah issue is concerned. And I think that if at all there's going to be any form of intimidation, he is on the top wanted list at the moment. Fortunately, here in Sabah, we do not have that problem. It is because of the harmonious living conditions of our people in Sabah. People in Semenanjung, Malaysia, will have to learn from us here in Sabah. So my final call to the opposition leaders: value your position, value what you're wanting to offer to the people of this state. And if you can value that, consolidate, and let's hope and pray that we would be able to consolidate with each other, and hopefully we will see a new incoming government after the 13th January. Thank you very much.